Welcome back to NATOR'S Game Picks, ladies and gentlemen. Quick Week 9 recap. Got my upset alert of the week in the book. I had the Jets over the Texans. The Jets took care of business. It was 15 total matchups. I got 4 wrong, 11 games right. Before I got wrong, I had the Saints over the Panthers. Panthers won. I had the Browns over Chargers. Chargers won. And then I had the Titans over Patriots. Oh, the Patriots over Titans. Titans won in overtime. And then I had the Bears over the Cardinals. Cardinals beat the Bears. So that brings my total overall for the year 92 and 46, keeping that good percentage up. And without further ado, let's go ahead and look at Week 10 matchups. All right, so before we get into the games for Week 10, let's go ahead and look at the teams on bye weeks. There's now 4 teams on the bye in Week 10, meaning there will be 14 matchups. 14 matchups for the games on Week 10. The 4 teams is the Cleveland Browns, the Packers, the Raiders, and the Seahawks are the 4 teams on byes. So let's go ahead and jump into the Thursday Night Football, which is going to be hosted in Baltimore as the Bengals take on the Ravens, their second matchup of the year. The first matchup, Bengals would argue they want that game back. Defense had the lead late in the game, led by 10 and 11 points in the fourth quarter, gave up the lead, and the Ravens came back and stole a win in Cincinnati. This time around, they're playing in Baltimore. I think they're hard to beat at home. Derrick Henry is leading the league in all facets of rushing yards. The Ravens offense, number 1 in the league, number 1 rush attack, number 2 pass attack. So a lot for the Bengals to stop, which I think they match up well. Trey Hendrickson having a great season. Their linebacking core obviously very solid. And Joe Burrow is honestly having an MVP season. But since they're not at 500 and behind in the AFC North, I think that favors leaning more towards Lamar Jackson. 2 MVP candidates going off in this Thursday night game. Probably be the best game of the whole week of the whole week will be now on Thursday night, which is good because then good games on prime time. I think the Ravens have the advantage here at home over the Bengals. It's already an uphill battle climb for the Bengals to get back into the wild card mix. They're definitely one of the better 3 and 5, 4 and 5 teams. But this is going to be a tall task, and I think the Ravens last game they played the Bengals, Derrick Henry only got the ball I think 12 to 15 times between receiving and catches and carries. I think this time around he gets the ball 25 times, and I think that's their winning formula to open up their pass game. And I think their receivers are getting more trust in Lamar and Lamar's decision making. Same with the Bengals, but it's just I think T. Higgins hasn't played in 2 games. It's going to be a lot for them to overcome without their full arsenal of weapons against this Ravens team. So I think the Ravens win at home 31-24. Now we go over to Sundays. This is the first game of the year that's in Munich, Germany. We have the Giants at the Panthers. Obviously, it's a neutral site. I think the Panthers coming off of a win. Bryce Young's started that game and got a win. And the Commanders beat the Giants last week pretty close. And the Giants finally showed some life on offense, which they're capable of. I think they have the advantage in this game because I think the difference is going to be the Giants' pass rush. I think they're going to get to Bryce Young. I think they're going to make it hard on them as Dexter Lawrence, Azeez Ojulari, and then you have Brian Burns in this front 7 for the Giants, which is actually pretty decent. It's their secondary more that struggled as of late, I believe. So I'm going to say that the Giants have the edge here. I think they beat the Panthers in Munich, Germany, 23-20. Hopefully giving those people in Germany a close game to view. Then we have the Patriots at the Bears. Bears at home here. Beat the Patriots in Foxborough in 2022. Ran for over 250 yards on the ground. I remember those back then. I think the Bears here at home need to win this game. They're in the toughest division in football currently, I believe. And I think that the Patriots here also they're happy with who they have in their rookie quarterback, but he is taking a beating back there. Their offensive line is not so good. If they can't get the running game going, they're one-dimensional. I think this plagues them against a pretty good Bears defense and ultimately makes them falling short. But I think the Bears have a lot to screw out of themselves on, particularly on offense. So we'll see if this is a get-right game for them or this is a game where they keep trudging mud and making false self-inflicted mistakes. Too many here, and that could cost them a loss. But I don't think they lose at home. I think they beat the Patriots of a score of 21-19. Moving on now, we got the Bills at the Colts. Colts at home, hosting one of the hottest teams in the AFC, other than the Kansas City Chiefs, who are obviously undefeated. I think this is a game that the Colts can win. Last week was very frustrating. Bad poor results on offense after optimism with Joe Flacco starting and Jonathan Taylor back in the lineup. Averaged under 4 yards a carry in that loss. So this is going to be a game that they need to come out and play like they want to win. And against the Bills team, it's a great test as they're getting their running game going. They're one of the best red zone teams. Josh Allen is also having an MVP caliber year, utilizing all of his weapons. James Cook, Ray Davis, Amari Cooper got traded there. Keon Coleman, rookie receiver. So this is going to be a lot for the Colts to overcome as they're kind of disabled they allow a lot of rushing yards on defense as well. So this is going to be a game I think the Bills come out on top 29-28 on the road in Indianapolis. Now we have the Vikings at the Jaguars. This is a game I wanted to look at towards an upset because I think the Jaguars have the tools to make an upset, but it's just I haven't seen nothing from them late in clutch games that makes me trust them. They almost beat the Eagles last week, but they threw an interception late in the game, and the Eagles won at home. I think the Vikings are probably a better team in certain ways. I think them coming on the road here, having to keep up in their division, is making them going to come out and play hard. And the Jaguars are 31st ranked defense in points allowed. So this is going to be tough for them to overcome. A Vikings team that has a lot of weapons. Jordan Addison coming to his own, Ed Oliver, Jalen Naylor, and of course Justin Jefferson. And even Cam Akers was getting his rhythm going out the backfield when Aaron Jones wasn't out there getting the carries for the Vikings backfield. So some things to look at right there, as the Jaguars defense has also struggled to stop the run. I think the Vikings win here of a score of 25-24 on the road in Jacksonville. Then we have the Broncos at the Chiefs, division matchup here. The Broncos coming off a loss against the Ravens last week, and the Chiefs winning on Monday Night Football against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think this is going to be one of those deals where if the Broncos can't get some turnovers and convert in the red zone, there's really not much chance against this Steve Spagnuolo-led defense, which the Broncos have beaten the Chiefs. They got them last year. So this could be a situation where the Chiefs are like, don't take this team lightly. We know if we let them stick around, we don't want to give them too much life. Travis Kelce finally had his first 100-yard game of the year last week. And DeAndre Hopkins, man, looking good. I'm happy for my boy. I think he's in the best situation he's been since maybe the first year getting traded to Arizona before he got suspended and hurt, nicked up. So this is a good situation for him. I think him and Patrick Mahomes are just going to keep developing their chemistry, particularly in the red zone, as that's where Kansas City is going to separate themselves if they're able to improve their red zone numbers, which they haven't been the highest this year. And in terms of explosive plays, don't need that much when we got two great possession receivers in Travis Kelce and DeAndre Hopkins, both of them working off each other. So the Broncos want to play zone. You're going to have some savvy route runners sitting in those zones. So the Broncos may want to play more man in this matchup because the Chiefs are definitely going to do that against this Broncos offense. I think the Chiefs win at home here 27-14. Falcons at the Saints. Saints just fired Dennis Allen, traded their top cornerback to the Commanders for some draft picks. Other than Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave, who's been dealing with concussion issues quite a lot now. So it's not much of the Saints offense has to scare people. Maybe Taysom Hill here and there, which is usually their red zone weapon. Falcons are here on a roll, beat Dallas last week. Kirk Cousins looking hot, using all of his weapons in a high-powered play-action-heavy run offense. And I think it's hitting their strides. I think they beat the Saints here on the road 26-12, improving them to 5 wins in the previous 6 games they have played. And now we have the Steelers at the 49ers at the Buccaneers. Buccaneers hosting the 49ers. I think they went out to Santa Clara last year. They lost. I think the Buccaneers here, coming off of a tough, should have won for 2 in that Monday night game against Kansas City to try to win. They went to overtime, ended up losing. Hurts the morale of that defense, I believe, who was playing pretty good. Got sacked Patrick Mahomes 4 times. Kalijah Kancey and Vita Vea looking good on that front 7. They need some more production out of their ends, especially against a Niners team they rely a lot on their tackles. I think they're going to have Christian McCaffrey back healthy for this one. And Deebo Samuel and George Kittle were healthy before the bye week. They're just coming off of a bye. So I think they're fresh, they're healthy. Their defense even potentially getting a little healthier too. So it's going to be tough for the Buccaneers to overcome, especially after a tough loss last week and a short week, considering they played on Monday night. Now they have to play on Sunday. I think they lose. I think the Niners come in here off the bye and beat the Buccaneers 37-24. to 28. Just a lot for this Buccaneers team to overcome as a whole. Now we have the Steelers at the Commanders. This is going to be one of the more intriguing games of the Week 10. I think the Commanders played the Ravens really tight a couple of weeks ago, and the Steelers, as they showed in the loss against the Cowboys, struggled to defend the run a little bit there. As the Cowboys were the worst rushing offense, actually managed to have one of their best outings of the year. I think the Commanders is going to take advantage of that film from that game and run the ball here. Keep Jaden Daniels, keep the pressure off of him, as the Steelers just traded for Preston Smith, and they have Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt. Their pass rush is going to be immense and always intense. So anything they can do to slow down that pass rush is going to benefit the Commanders here. As mentioned with the Saints matchup game, that the Commanders acquired cornerback, former All-Pro cornerback, Pro Bowl and All-Pro cornerback Marshawn Lattimore for some draft picks. He's going to be inserted right there and help this team out big time, which their defense is trying to find that consistency going into this deep playoff hunt of a month coming up here in the NFL season. So I think the Commanders actually at home are have a good chance here. Steelers also made a trade for Mike Williams. They're a receiver, but I think they can match up pretty fair, as Russell Wilson likes to give jump balls. This Commanders defense will have some opportunities to get the ball. So I think the Steelers at Commanders, I think the Commanders win here. I think that they win 18-17 at home against the Steelers team that is currently leading the AFC North. Titans at the Chargers. Now we're getting into the second window of the games on Sunday. Chargers, West Coast. Titans got a win last week against a struggling Patriots team. They didn't have a minus turnover differential in that game, which was, as they have a pretty decent defense. They're not a bad defense. Offense just turns the ball over a lot, and that can hamstring them and having why they've lost a lot of games. Against the Chargers team, I think they can also be in good position if they limit their turnovers and mistakes. I think the Chargers are rolling right now, especially with Herbert hitting his strides, using his receivers, and this running game with J.K. Dobbins being that wear you down in the fourth quarter if this team has the lead. I think this is a game where they display that, and I think they win at home of a score of 31-20 over the Tennessee Titans. Jets at the Cardinals. These two teams last met. I remember they played in 2020. DeAndre Hopkins was a part of the Cardinals then. I think this is a game the Jets come in and they find the matchups they like and they take advantage, and I think they win. I think the Cardinals at home are leading the NFC West currently. Should take care of business here. The Jets defense got some people back healthy from the previous week, so I think they're in better chance to compete and stop this running attack of the Cardinals, which is very effective for particularly their quarterback Kyler Murray. But I feel like if he has to drop back and pass, if they're not really running the ball well, it favors the Jets. And I think they have younger receivers, and they're going against a more savvier veteran secondary in the Jets. So I think this favors the Cardinals. I also think the Jets are going to take advantage of Breece Hall and Braylon Allen, and of course their receivers, as they just traded Mike Williams, although they have Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson, who is probably going to be one of the best receivers here in the next couple of years. I think they come into Arizona and get the win. I think they win to a score of 27-26. Further giving the Jets hope this season that they can make a playoff push. I think if there's a game that you need to win to convince their fans of that, it would be this one, because the Cardinals are gelling into a good team right now and a very competitive team. So this will be big for the Jets if they can get this upset. But the Cardinals do need to take care of business at home. I expect them to come in with that mindset as well. The Eagles at the Cowboys is our last game before the night game comes on. It's the Eagles against a division opponent. I think the Cowboys will be starting Cooper Rush at quarterback. Cooper Rush played in Philadelphia 2 years ago and lost 26-17 through 3 interceptions that game. If he can limit the turnovers, then they can establish a running game and maybe open up some play action pass for Cooper Rush. I think they have a good chance here, as I think the Eagles defense has some holes. But if the Cowboys can't exploit those holes, it's going to be tough for them to compete with this team at home, who's obviously gelling on offense. It's hard to stop. I think the Cowboys may be getting back Parsons and potentially Deron Bland. If they can get both, that's great. Just one of them, but none. It's going to be hard for this team to overcome a division opponent who is currently trying to keep up with the Commanders in the division, as this division is looking a lot better than what previously may have been predicted. Or worse for the teams that are not doing so good in that division now. So I do think the Eagles go into Dallas and it's going to be close. It's going to be penalties. Dallas going to play desperate. But I do think in the end, the Eagles commit fewer mistakes and convert more in the red zone, as I think they do get some trips in the red zone on this Dallas defense. I think they win of a score of 30-17 on the road in Dallas. Now for the Sunday Night Football, we have the Lions at the Texans. Two Texas teams hosting games, and I think both Texas teams lose. I think the Texans at home, they lost. They had a big loss in Stephon Diggs, and Nico Collins is still on IR. Their bye week is not until another week. C.J. Stroud did not look very good last week in their loss to the Jets. And I think now against the Lions team that just traded for Zadarius Smith to help out with that pass rush, they're hungrier than ever to make a statement, especially against an AFC opponent, which is who they're going to have to beat. They're going to have to beat an AFC opponent if they go to the Super Bowl, which this team definitely has their sights set on. So I feel like this is a game where they're going to come in and try to bully the Texans around here. I think they do that. I think the Lions are just a very well-oiled machine right now all around. Special teams, defense, and offense. It's going to be hard for a team like the Texans who are struggling with injuries to stop this. So I think the Lions win on the road here, 35-20. And Monday Night Football is my upset alert of the week. Monday Night Football upset alert of the week. We have the Dolphins at the Los Angeles Rams, who have won 3 of their last 4. Overtime win against the division opponent last week, sending them into the bye week unhappy, as they have to play them again later. Rams got Cooper Kupp back healthy, Puka Nacua, and they're making other receivers and players are making plays like DeMarcus Robinson, who's caught 4 touchdown passes in the last 2 weeks. I think the Dolphins here have a perfect chance to come into LA and upset this team, as I think Tua Tagovailoa is going to take advantage of this Rams secondary that's young. They do have to find a way to stop this Rams pass rush, as Jared Verse, a rookie, is coming into his own out of Florida State. He is wrecking stuff down there in those trenches. So they're going to have to chip his way, give them some extra help, and utilize Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert, who's a big addition coming back off injury, to slow down this, to run the ball against this Rams defense, which I think they'll have success doing. And Mike McDaniel needs to get in this winning column. What better way to do it against Sean McVay? I think this could be the upset alert of the week. I think the Dolphins win against the Rams here, 27-23. We got the 4 teams on bye weeks already. Week 10 is looking like it's going to sway some ways going into the playoff hunt now. Going into November football, December football, that playoff picture is starting to shape. Football is getting more intense, so just keep enjoying it. Pray for these guys' health, and I'll see you guys on the next one.